whoever's speech I missed on Tuesday, I really wanted to hear it. And just coming in to hear your speech, Will, and to hear your speech, I'm just piggybacking off you guys on who I chose to speak about. So my question I had for you guys is, who better, right? Who better to speak about than the one person that I'm sure everybody in this room has the same similarity to reflect and talk about this person I'm about to talk about. I'm about to talk about God, because when I set to talk and when I set to think about who is worthy of me praising, in front of everybody, what man, what woman is worth this high praise? And when I thought about it, mom, dad, aunts, uncles, they all had this one God in common. They all reflected and gave their source of energy and power to him. So I asked you guys, who better, right? And again, why is it relevant to you guys? Is because you guys could possibly know about God, or you may not know about God. But the things that I'm about to talk about, why he's so praiseworthy to me, I'm sure we all can relate. All right, and if you can relate, cool, share it with somebody else. Cool? Cool. All right, cool. So the first thing I want to talk about is why he's praiseworthy to me. First and foremost is through his wisdom and his guidance, right? Wisdom to me is up here, knowledge to me is right about here, right? And the wisdom and guidance that I chose not to follow previously, right? It had me going through a lot of turmoil, a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of things that I wish I wasn't involved in. Quick story, while I was in the military, I was in Iraq, and I was there for 7 months, a lot of craziness going on, a lot of realization of, oh, where am I at right about now, right? So a lot of wisdom and guidance that I had to use at that time was keeping my head down, listening to my authorities, staying where I needed to be, doing what I needed to do, not try veer off and do my own thing. And through the mortars, through the rockets, and through all the bombings, somehow I made it back home safely, right? Like, how? I can explain how, I can't explain how, I can't tell you exactly why I wasn't in harm's way, but through my faith, through my belief, I know that it was God that got me through those crazy times. Not only in that deployment, but into others that I had went on. And a nice verse that I like to share with you guys when it comes to just wisdom and guidance is that it's from Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, and it says, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not into your own understanding. But in all thy ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths, right? So every time I wanted to go somewhere, wanted to do something, all I had to do was just talk, pray, God, who, what, when, where, why, relax for a little bit, seek some guidance, and then move on. So my advice to you guys is, when it comes to just wisdom and guidance, just pray first, seek his face, and then he will let you know what's up. The next point I like to bring to you guys, the reason why he's so praiseworthy, because he was my source of inspiration, right? Whoever you guys feel is praiseworthy, I'm sure they inspired you to a certain point for you to move a certain way, to do things a certain way, whatever music you might listen to, right? It can inspire you to do things differently. But with God, it was all about his story, about what he had to go through, how he had to come down. If you believe it or don't believe it, but in my faith, my religion, he came down. He suffered a brutal beating. He had a horrible death, all because he loved us, all because he wanted us to be better at whatever it is he has for us, right? So just knowing that and knowing how I chose not to stay in his plan or do things he asked me to do, it made me feel a certain type of way, right? And sorry about that. Through inspiration is like, you can do so much off the littlest inspiration, and we just don't sometimes, I'm gonna say myself, I'm not gonna put you guys into things, I just sometimes don't, I take it for granted. I just don't realize the power I have just by being inspired off some things. A scripture for that I would like to leave with you guys is Philippians 4:13, that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. All right. Moving forward on to my next point, something that I know that my culture, we lack a lot of it, and that's compassion and empathy. That's something that God has a lot for everybody, just being compassionate for your brother and just understanding whatever situation that they may be going through. I think within our culture, within our community, within our society, just a little bit of more compassion for whatever our brother or sister is going through. Not only will it help them out, but it can also do something for yourself and in your walks and how you travel and do things. If I could just share a quick scripture, pardon me, it comes from Galatians 3:13, and it just says forbearing one another and forgiving one another. Right? Anybody need to forgive anybody in here? Right? Over something petty, I bet, right? Something real petty. So if we can just have that, just forgive them for whatever it is that they've done, and just understand that your doo-doo still stinks as well. Right? My last point, I'm gonna wrap it up. The last thing why God is so praiseworthy, and I chose to talk about him about 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I wouldn't be talking about God in this type of manner. For whatever reason, I just wouldn't. But the last thing I want to bring about is his support and his encouragement, right? And all the 37 years living on this earth, I needed all the support, all the encouragement. Growing up where I grew up, getting into things that I got into, I needed that support. I needed someone to still say, I love you, when everybody was saying, I hate you, can't stand you, blah, 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 blah. You understand? So with that, that not only put me in a position to be, I'm a retired vet right now, 11 years in the military, I'm a family man, doing this and doing that. It's like I'm doing so much more, all because I listened to the words that God spoke to me compared to what man spoke to me. And if I could leave y'all with this last verse, it is Isaiah 40:31. But they that wait upon the Lord, he shall renew their strength. If you know it, say it. But they shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So whatever it is you might be going through, whatever it is that you might be having troubles with, if you are a believer, if you believe that in God, just wait on him and he will come through. So through the wisdom and the guidance that I have been receiving from God, all the encouragement and support, all of the, don't take no points off, compassion and empathy that I have been blessed with, is I'm here today to, proudly say that God is the reason for all of it, and he is praiseworthy, and I'm sure whoever you guys are going to speak about will reference God, or probably has referenced God. So with that said, appreciate you. Thank you guys.